You're watching KOCO 5. Live, local, late breaking. This is KOCO 5 News at 6 o'clock in high definition.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, Oklahoma is at the center of a story that's getting global attention.
A college baseball player from Australia here on a scholarship murdered over the weekend. Chris Lane played baseball for ECU in Ada. His murder Friday evening shocked family and friends in Australia. And tonight, we're hearing from his mom and dad for the very first time as they grieve and struggle to raise the money to bring his body back home for burial. ABC News' Australia's Seb Costello begins our coverage tonight.
Searching for answers, the Lane family gather on home plate for the son they lost so far from home.
It is pointless, and to try and understand it, it's a short way to insanity.
Just last week, Mum Donna watched Chris board a US-bound flight, unaware she was saying goodbye for the last time.
We were lucky that he was here for that period of time.
Alone on an afternoon jog, Chris was a stranger to the group of teenagers who drove past armed with a handgun and shot him in the back.
The fact that something that shouldn't have happened has happened. It's the fact that somebody we all love so much is not going to come home.
Winning 2 university scholarships, Chris moved to the US and settled in Oklahoma with girlfriend Sarah Harper.
They were a really lovely couple.
They were just a couple in love and very comfortable with each other.
Devastated, the young American composed this tribute to her partner of 4 years. I love you so much. From 2009 until forever, you will always be mine, and in a very special and protected place in my heart. Chris took up baseball here in Essendon as a 7-year-old, and on Saturday, the club for whom he wore the number 40 will pause for a minute's silence and release 40 balloons into the sky. Seb Costello, 9 News.
Very sad. Well, clearly Chris's parents are just heartbroken, understandably so, through all of this. But a mom and dad in Duncan are also devastated tonight.
They say their kids, teenagers, are sitting in jail accused of this murder. And according to them, police have the wrong guys. KOCO's Kim Passoff continues our team coverage tonight.
Australian media packed the courthouse, but the teens did not appear today as expected. Their parents were here, though. One mom telling us there's no way her son was involved.
They said that happened at 3 p.m. Well, I get off at work at 3, and it just takes me 5 minutes to get to the house, and he was at home.
Jennifer Luna refuses to believe her 16-year-old son, Duncan High School sophomore Chancey Luna, is the man police say gunned down ECU baseball player Chris Lane. She believes the murder occurred before Chancey left the house.
He got in a black car that obviously was involved in it, and that's when they got him.
But there's some doubt in her mind because she hasn't been able to speak to him yet.
They won't let me. I'm allowed to see him or nothing. He was all in my face, just yelling at me, saying my son's a murderer. I've been up here all morning just wanting to know some answers. That's my baby. I just want to know some answers. If he did it, then let me know. Tell me something so I can ease my mind. I can't go through this.
Do you think that he was involved?
I don't think so. Why? Because he's not that type of person.
James Edwards says his 15-year-old son, James Edwards II, yelled to him as he was arrested.
He said, "Dad, I love you," and I didn't have nothing to do with it.
The teens have yet to be formally charged. That's likely to happen here tomorrow at an arraignment hearing. In Duncan, Kim Passoff, KOCO 5 News.
Police say they have tracked the teens down using surveillance video from a business near that crime scene. They also believe that this was a random crime, that Lane and the boys did not know each other. A judge denies a drunk driver's desperate plea for a reduced sentence.
Justin Hill was driving in the wrong direction when he crashed into the car that Ashley Madison was riding in, killing her in 2010. That's her there on the right. Today, a judge ruled that he must serve his full 12-year prison sentence. KOCO's Michael Seiden joins us now live tonight. Michael?
Jessica and Paul, on the night of that deadly crash, investigators say Justin Hill was driving the wrong way down this stretch of the Broadway extension. Investigators also said his blood alcohol level was nearly 3 times the legal limit. Today, Justin walked into a courtroom and begged the judge for a reduced sentence. Is there anything you want the public to know about your case? You turned around. Outside the courtroom, Justin Hill remained quiet, but inside, the 26-year-old turned to Ashley Madison's mother and apologized for causing the 2010 crash that killed this accomplished jazz singer.
It helped. It helped. I'm glad that he apologized. I can't put conditions on it. I can't. Of course, he's never going to say exactly what I want to say or how I want to hear it, but he did get to verbalize that, and I appreciate it.
Now, 1 year after pleading guilty to second-degree murder and DUI, Justin Hill returned to the same courtroom, this time an inmate. Hill stood in front of his family and begged the judge to reduce his 12-year prison sentence.
If a judge is the one that sentences the defendant, that within a year from the date of the sentencing, he has to file a modification.
District Judge Ray Elliott denied the motion, but not before he listened to passionate and emotional pleas from Ashley's friends and family. One friend told the judge, "It hasn't even been a year. Some people haven't started healing. I feel like this is a slap in the face." For some, the emotions are still raw. For Ashley's mother,
I've got some closure. I don't have to worry about this fight anymore.
and I should mention that Judge Elliott actually commended Justin's behavior in prison. Since he's been in there, he's actually tutored 7 of his fellow inmates who have gone on to earn their GEDs. But also, he is serving time for an 85% crime, which means he will not be eligible for parole until 2022. Reporting live tonight in Northeast Oklahoma City, Michael Seiden, KOCO 5 News.
Michael, thank you. Today, an Oklahoma County judge put a temporary block on a new state law that's aimed at restricting access to the morning after pill. That law would require women 17 and older to show an ID to get Plan B, but also make it prescription only for those under 17.
The judge found that the law is likely unconstitutional, that it harms Oklahoma women and teens, and so it is not allowed to go into effect through the duration of the litigation.
Again, a temporary block on that law that was set to take effect on Thursday.
Today, dozens of Cherokee Nation members gathered at the state capitol in support of Dustin Brown. Brown is the biological father of a little girl in the middle of a bitter custody battle. Brown has challenged his daughter's adoption to a South Carolina family under the Indian Welfare Child Act. Tribal members say little Veronica should live with her father.
We want this to be resolved as quickly as possible so that all parties can move on, and we hope that she will be able to remain here in Oklahoma.
Brown signed a notice for Veronica's proposed adoption in 2009. He claims he thought the document gave away his parental rights to Veronica's mother.
Federal prosecutors say an Arizona inmate who escaped from prison committed unspeakable crimes. Today, the prosecution and the defense made opening statements in the trial for John McCluskey. He's accused of killing Oklahoma couple Gary and Linda Haas back in 2010 when they were traveling through New Mexico. McCluskey is the last of 3 defendants to be tried in this case. The other 2 pleaded guilty and will likely testify during this trial.
Thousands of dollars in lawn equipment stolen from the Guthrie Cemetery, and now the city is offering big money to get it back.
We're talking $10,000. KOCO's Naveen Dhaliwal has that story.
Guthrie police say the thieves broke the padlock, pried open the door, and got into the shed, stealing thousands of dollars worth of equipment that was sitting right here.
It's personal, and it was violating.
It happened here at Summit View Cemetery.
I got back about right here when I noticed, the doors being open.
When Park Supervisor Blue Smith looked inside the large white shed that stores the lawn equipment, he saw it was nearly empty.
I was just kind of pretty well in shock. I just couldn't believe it. I just kind of froze, and the only thing I knew to do was call the police. And
it's not uncommon to have a mower stolen or a chainsaw stolen, but we're talking pretty much, their whole fleet of.
So far, no leads, but city officials are offering a $10,000 reward for the stolen property, which includes riding lawnmowers, weed eaters, and blowers. City leaders say in addition to the 80-acre cemetery, their crews care for property on the city's 3 parks and 2 lakes.
This theft couldn't have come at a worse time. We've had the heaviest amount of growth.
Police have entered the serial numbers of these stolen items into a national database. They're hoping other law enforcement agencies will detect them and call Guthrie police. In Guthrie, Naveen Dhaliwal, KOCO 5 News.
Okay, Naveen, thank you. Now, city officials are considering installing surveillance cameras onto those storage sheds. High school football season, it is right around the corner.
Still ahead at 6. See the new tool local schools are proactively using to protect their athletes from injuries. And 30,000 Oklahomans could lose their government-funded health insurance by the end of the year.
It's wrong. This is a program that works. This is a program, so few things in government work.
See what the state is doing to reach a deal with the federal government and who's stuck in the middle of this political tug of war.
One, two, three, four, five.
Live, local, late breaking. This is KOCO 5 News at 6 with Jessica Shambach, Paul Folger, KOCO 5 Sports with Brian Keating, and Oklahoma City's most accurate forecast with Chief Meteorologist Damon Lane. Now, KOCO 5 News continues.
Welcome back, everyone. A political tug of war could leave thousands here in Oklahoma without health insurance.
Insure Oklahoma helps about 30,000 people afford health coverage, but the program could end by the end of this year. KOCO's Wendell Edwards explains how the state is fighting for a compromise.
Andy Ite knows what it's like to live without health insurance.
If we have to, we have to. I mean, we're not the type that like to, just run to the emergency room and say, gimme, gimme, gimme.
Ite, who works in the tow truck business, pays premiums on his health insurance. Insure Oklahoma, a state program, pays the rest. It's a program that helps about 30,000 people each year, mostly the working poor who qualify, afford health coverage. But the $125 million state and federally funded program is in jeopardy. The feds are pulling out, taking $75 million with it.
The whole goal for many years is saying we need to help people buy health insurance.
The state wants an extension for at least a year. We reached out to Governor Mary Fallon's office, and a spokesperson tells me they are actively negotiating with the federal government, hoping that that one-year extension can soon be reached.
If we're unsuccessful in getting an extension, this program effectively goes away at the end of the year.
Ite is frustrated.
It's wrong. This is a program that works. This is a program, so few things in government work.
Our program now in limbo with thousands like Andy Ite waiting for a decision. Wendell Edwards, KOCO 5 News.
Well, the state is hoping for news on the extension sometime before Labor Day. High school football season, it is almost here.
And students are already working hard on the practice field, still ahead tonight at 6.
Yeah, telling a kid they can't play anymore is difficult, definitely a hard part of your job.
Tonight, see what local schools are doing to make sure students are cared for in case of injury before it happens.
And we all know just how wet this summer has been, but it looks like the rain machine has turned itself off for a little while. So how long will it take before rain returns back into Oklahoma? I'll show you coming up.
These Edmond athletes are required to take the same test as the guys they look up to in the pros, and it's not a drill. You don't need pads. All you need is your brain and an internet connection.
It is the season for hard knocks, big blows, and tackles on the football field.
In an effort to keep high school athletes safe, a few metro districts are turning to a special test that's used by the NFL and NCAA. KOCO's Katie Blakey is live tonight to explain how this all works. Katie?
Well, Jessica, these Edmond athletes are taking the same test that the athletes they look up to in the pros are taking, and it's not a drill. You don't need your pads. All you need is your brain and an internet connection. They are bigger, stronger, faster. High school athletes delivering bruising blows and taking even harder hits.
And I went down, I stuck my head down, and we hit, and I just fell over.
3 concussions in 3 years does not worry Cassidy senior Blake Rawls.
Flex your head down as far as you can. No pain there.
But it does concern the staff entrusted with the health of student athletes.
All they're thinking about is the next half or the next quarter. They can't look 20 years in the future.
Any questions about that?
It is why a handful of metro districts are requiring cognitive baseline tests.
And it's not based on intelligence. You can't study for it. You can't prepare for it. Basically, what we're looking for is the brain's ability to process information.
If a player suffers a concussion, he'll take the test again, and doctors will compare results.
In the past, it's been, well, I guess they have a concussion, or I guess they just got their bell rung, or they got a ding. Now we can say that they've concussed. We can objectively measure how severely they were concussed.
Doctors say it will lead to more right calls when it comes to putting a player back on the field.
It's a very serious thing. Ultimately, we can't fix a damaged brain.
A lot of attention is put on football players, but some of these districts are requiring it for athletes in other sports. Norman, Yukon, Edmond, they're all looking at giving these tests, administering these. Now, we contacted OSO, which oversees high school athletics. They say they're currently reviewing this test process, looking at the costs and the benefits, but right now they do not require districts to administer the cognitive baseline test. We're live in Edmond tonight. Katie Blakey, KOCO 5 News.
Pretty interesting. Yeah, I mean, sounds like a smart idea. You never know. It's a rough game. It's a name of the game.
Yeah, you got to be especially careful. You saw the view out there. It is nice out, not too hot.
It really is. I don't know if those guys would say it with all those pads on, you know, they have a tough job out there, but really it could be a lot worse right now. Chief Meteorologist Damon Lane is keeping a close watch on those temps. Damon, I mean, just picture perfect for us.
It really is. I mean, 88, 89 degrees for a high temperature in the middle of August. I mean, something weird happened today. It didn't rain in Oklahoma, and eventually the rain will return, but not for a couple days, it looks like. We are now headed into a dry weather pattern. Looking at a live shot from our Clinton cam right now, 88 degrees, hit a high temperature of 89 degrees. Right now, 88 in Enid, 85 in Stillwater. Evening plans tonight. It's going to be a pretty nice night for that evening dinner outside on the patio. Lows tonight, it'll be a nice, cool, comfortable evening. 67 in Stillwater, right here in Oklahoma City. Low temperature of 67 degrees as you start the workday tomorrow. 69 degrees at 8 a.m. Looks like an easy drive into work. We'll be in the mid-80s by noon. And then a high tomorrow, looks like about 1 or 2 degrees warmer than today, but all in all, still feeling pretty nice. 91 degrees for a high temperature. High statewide tomorrow. Lower 90s are going to be common. We'll see temperatures a little bit warmer in western and southwestern Oklahoma. Mid 90s, but no 100s across the state for tomorrow. As we head into Wednesday, temperatures come up just a little bit more so. 92 degrees for a high temperature in Oklahoma City. 90 in Stillwater. It looks like temperatures are going to stay in the 90s and our rain's going to stay out of the forecast for at least the next week, if not week and a half, as high pressure system comes back into the central plains, and that is going to keep rain out of here. So after going through a very wet period for this past summer, it looks like things are going to start to dry out. 91 degrees for a high temperature again tomorrow afternoon. Not much change in the weather over the next few days. Wednesday and Thursday here, highs still in the lower 90s. Now the changes that we will see, those overnight low temperatures are going to come up a couple degrees here. Instead of seeing lows in the 60s, we'll see those lows in the 70s for the second half of the week here. But look at this, a 7-day forecast, and it has been a while since we have seen a 7-day forecast without a drop of rain. At least somewhere in there. Again, looks like drier weather will be returning. And you're up to date with the latest First Alert forecast.
Coming up next, Bob Stoops down to the final minutes trying to pick a quarterback. Is it Blake Bell or Trevor Knight coming up? But here's a quarterback doing everything he can to put his job on lockdown. Brandon Whedon next on KOCO 5 Sports.
Now, KOCO 5 Sports with Brian Keating.
Quarterback decision is on the way. Bob Stoops told us over the weekend that he'd like to pick a guy by the end of this week, although he has said that we might see them both against Louisiana Monroe. Bob Stoops, I guess, picking a quarterback not so easy.
At the end of the day, I keep saying this isn't our first rodeo. We've done this a lot over, we've won 8 Big 12 championships with 6 different quarterbacks, so it hasn't really hurt us a lot. They're both being prepared to play, as well as Cody Thomas as well.
Maybe he'll make that decision today. No practice today for the OSU Cowboys. Mike Gundy gave him the day off just to go to class for the first time. Now less than 2 weeks before kickoff against Mississippi State, Cowboys seem to be feeling pretty good about themselves.
I really like where our team is. I like their cohesiveness. I like their attitude, and they're in really good shape right now.
We have so much talent. Everybody's just out there competing, even the freshmen. Those guys aren't afraid of anything. They're out there challenging the ones, which is, just a great thing for us.
Longhorns, hey, they scrimmaged in Austin over the weekend. Mack Brown says he wants to be more physical, so guess their inspiration.